with this topic right here, too many times, all it is praying, especially in the midst of tragedies, in the midst. Now, I know, like I said, that's the standard go to thing. It sounds good. That's what people tell you to do. You're supposed to pray this and that, pray this and that. But it's like, damn, out of all these tragedies, out of all this loss of life, what has this praying done? It's just a standard thing to do. To just say that you did it. What has it done though? Can anybody explain that to me? What has all this praying done? Please, can somebody give me an answer? What has all this praying done?
Uh, oh boy. Damn, I definitely have to follow you now. I brought this up a couple of months ago, actually. The the thoughts and prayers concept. I directly called it on record. I told them the historical paradigm shows that black spirituality is the Achilles point, the Achilles heel of black militancy. And I repeated that in several black Hebrew Israelite rooms, white supremacist Christian rooms, integrationist rooms, and I was pretty much removed immediately for calling out black spirituality because they don't want to hear it. They don't want to know that King Lycurgus of Sparta also called out black spirituality as the Achilles heel of black survival and prosperity. He literally abolished all the religions. They still had gods. Those gods were still black, but he made sure that the entire society understood if your gods aren't giving you victories over these neighboring white supremacists and all their mixed race allies, you should not be giving tribute or prayers or offerings to those gods. Don't fucking do it. If you're caught doing it, you will be fined, you will be sentenced, you will be flogged, you will be punished. If you attend a church for a God that does not give you a victory, you will be punished. He established that concept, that protocol on spirituality. And to this day, we keep regressing backwards into white supremacy and then asking the heavens, why don't our gods spare us from the cruelties of our white gods who live right next door to us?
Hey, no more. Not when he just said that. Know what I thought about, bro? We could have made this title. It would have hit the same way. Uh, uh, black folks praying to white Jesus. That's the same type of. That's the same thing. It's just a different way we say it. Black folks praying to white Jesus. But yeah, man, just touch.
It gets deeper. This rabbit hole on spirituality gets a lot uglier and a lot deeper. Now that we have the 200 plus Venus figurines dated back to 50,000 BC or earlier, because that's just what they've recovered so far. 200 Bantu, African, Hottentot female figurines representing the god that all ancient Homo sapiens used to worship in Asia, Eurasia, Europe, and Africa. Now that we know for a fact God is a black African woman, now we know these forensic facts. Now we're getting pushback on that from the black Hebrew Israelites and all the other black spiritual groups saying God can't be a woman. And I'm like, the forensics clearly shows that all of our ancient caveman ancestors across the world understood that God is a feminine term and worship her as a phenotype we only see within Central Africa. So they just turn hostile when you show them tangible evidence that there was a monoculture, a mono religion across the entire planet, and it worships black women. The black feminists try to appropriate this reality and say that that's why black matriarchs should be on top of the black society. But those are the same black feminist movement who destroyed the black society since the 1920s till now. So they're not
Oh,
even living
that's
up.
hey, that's too much for them. They definitely want to hear that. Say that one part again.
The black feminists who are appropriating the factual identity of God of every major religion for the last 50,000 years or earlier, the same ones who are appropriating that to be the symbol of matriarchy in this modern white supremacist race war are the same black feminists who have been collaborating with the white supremacists against our progress and survival since the early 1920s. So the spirituality is being hijacked by the same racial terrorists who have been creating single motherhood and strong independent black women and sexual integration with white zaddy and supporting the snitching on the slave rebellions for the last few hundred years, the same ones, the ones who allied with Margaret Sanger and the black pastorship to make sure black children were aborted more than any other race during the eugenic societies of the last 200 years, same black feminists are now going on the warpath all over social media talking about, see, we knew God was a woman, so y'all need to bow down and obey black women. Meanwhile, those ancient populations killed white men on contact with these toxic white patriarchs coming from Eurasia. The Amazons have a circle, like a witch's circle of these clay figurines, the Venus figurines, underneath the Parthenon in Athens. It's dated 1,000 years before the construction of the Parthenon, and it is a circle of Venus figurines worshiping a central god female figurine. This is the Amazon culture of northern Greece. 2,000 damn years before the white people get there. So these matriarchs do not live up to the spirituality of their black woman ancestors across the globe who worshiped a black goddess. And that black goddess said, go to war with white people as soon as they make harm on your people. The golden fucking rule. It's universal across every culture because it was a black goddess rule. Do unto others that which has been done unto you and yours. That is the golden rule. That is the true golden rule.
Hey,
White Christianity.
real
Oh,
quick, uh, I got a comment I want to put some light to. A said the white zaddy divester movement.
correct. That is black feminism since the 1920s. I've brought them to task on that and been removed from all these black supremacists, the black feminist rooms, the rooms that say are black men to blame for X. And as soon as I say, okay, where's the accountability on the black women allying with the white men and the white U.S. government to deport black fathers out of their households since the 1970s? Where's the accountability for those actions? Where's the black women acknowledging that that is what their black single mothers did, and that's why we're in this situation right now? Where's the accountability for feminizing black boys, turning them into sissies and simps and losers and
Wake
beta
it up.
males? Where's the accountability? And every time I say accountability, I get muted, removed, and slandered in the room. I have multiple witnesses who witnessed that already in my own group chat. They're like, what the hell is going on here? I thought we were building between the gender war factions. No, the black women do not want to be disciplined or held accountable directly for their actions. They don't want to hear it.
No more. You
The,
hear this, man? Hey, bro, you in the right room, man. Make sure you follow in the room. You follow me in no more because we ain't with none of that. We definitely everything what you saying. We the opposite. You know what I'm saying? So you in the right place, bro. This is real spit. We not with the popularity contest. We not about who popular, who this, who that. It's about the value. It's about what you're saying, accountability, integrity, morals, all the stand up stuff. That's what we own up in here. So you're in the right place right here, bro.
Amen. We got to construct more of these places. That's what we got to do. Because right now, that's another paradigm I've told them to directly to their face. There is no black community. None. Everyone told me get into the social media space so I can start talking my points that I've been posting on Twitter for years. They're like, okay, bro, you're way ahead of the anthropology. You're way ahead of the science. That's great. Get it out to the masses. Okay. I go meet the masses online, and I'm like, oh, these people aren't. They don't. We have no black people. Like, think about that. I want you to really think about that. We have half of the world, 7.2 billion people. Half of that is melanated in some way, shape, or form. Cool. None of them are black. The darkest Negro you can find in Africa, Somali Ethiopians of Eastern Africa, they don't claim black. They don't even claim other Africans. It's like, oh, we're Somali. We're not African. We're Somali. We're not blacks. They're telling us from the horse's mouth. I get online. I'm like, okay, do you guys even know what the word blackness means? Do you know what it means to be black? And they start telling me whatever white zaddy has told them from their dictionaries that were rewritten and whitewashed in the last 300 years, confirming that, yeah, we're not only bamboozled and brainwashed, we flat out don't even have a community because we never accurately defined the core root word etymology of our own community. It doesn't exist anymore, and I have to read ancient history to find it. So when I define black as one, melanated on both sides of your lineage, and two, willing to fight and die for other melanated populations, not yours, others. Once I say that, I become the most hated person in the entirety of the black social media sphere. And this is the space I was invited in to go introduce my paradigm, my power paradigms from ancient history to the black community. And once I define what a black community is using the ancient standards, I'm instantly enemy number one. I'm the most hated person because they don't want to know the standards that their black ancestors maintained for millennia. They don't want to hear it.
Let me ask you this, bro. Like when we talking about spirituality as it pertains to black folks particularly, how do you think the manipulation started from the very beginning, the essence of blacks in being involved in spirituality? How did blacks get manipulated so much to pray for the white Jesus?
That was actually already analyzed by British scientists about 100 and some years ago in their British Royal Scientific Society. They went to Africa, studied all the collected superstitions, and discovered that there was a repeating pattern everywhere across the earth. It's called the Three Graces. Well, that's what the white people named it, the Three Graces. So it's how do I phrase this simply? These are the three phenotypes, the three physical proportions or physical. Damn, there's a word for this. The outliers, the three random outliers that can arise in any black population. These three groups, you as a black ancient person going back as far as a million BC, are not allowed to harm these three outliers. So the first one is the standard of fertility is a black woman with a bubble butt. Just right off the rip, because most of our ancestors don't have that genetics yet. So when the first mutant has thick thighs, a big bouncing booty, and a giant massive rack, they're like, okay, that's the ideal for fertility, and that is how you get your goddess figurine. That is God. She's a black fertile woman. Great. The bubble butt, by the way, is an evolutionary mutation that increases the success of pregnancies while you're starving. So instead of starving and having a stillbirth, the fat in your buttock cells and your breast, your giant breast, is consumed by the fetus, and the fetus survives to birth. This is a revolution in genetics. Awesome. The second outlier, another rare go ahead.
Oh no, you gonna finish and I got another question for you. Keep on going with the second one.
Yeah, okay. The second one, dwarves. When you give birth to a dwarf, nobody in the entirety of the black world can harm your dwarf child. There is no persecution of dwarves because evolutionarily they approach problems in a different manner and construct solutions to those problems that we now call the simple machines. So dwarves use levers instead of their height and their strength, and so they're respected from hyper ancient antiquity until modern European culture as geniuses. So that's the grace for intelligence. Dwarves, pygmies, midgets, jesters, court jesters in Europe are black dwarves. Nobody talks about them. They're Negroid dwarves. Yeah, they're holy, they're sacred. You cannot harm them. The third group, albino children. When you give birth to this mutant, this is the grace of divine omen. The the albino children are not to be harmed because there's some sort of unknown message from the heavens. That's what it was. And because white people understood these superstitious beliefs or were given the privileges of these three graces, the whites have been able to safely integrate into every single black culture on earth. And they have taken full abusive advantage of this to destroy us from within. This is the missing link that we've not been paying attention to.
Oh man, say that one part one more time. How they infiltrate?
They have been granted the privilege of black mercy for 1,000,000 years. And this is how the white race from 4000 BC Kazakhstan has been allowed to systematically integrate into every advanced black civilization since they arrived back in India 1500 BC. And
And
that's how
to
they've been able to
highlight
destroy from within.
his point, it's only a few islands on the islands of Mauritius that haven't been fully infiltrated, where they still practice the same culture they've been practicing. They still live in a little hut. They don't get into technology and none of that. Then on top of that, um I'm naming my son after Shaka Zulu, who was also even intrigued by these people and gave them places to lay their head and all kind of shit. But he was intrigued by them, but he ended up dying before whatever plan he had for them came to pass. But that just highlight his point. Like these people have been able to infiltrate culture after culture, different group after different group, and fucking take and steal they shit and remix it how they want to. Also, even how the British is loaning Nambia its artifacts for indefinite loose. Did you hear about that, bro?